First of all, congrats, first team all MIAA. How does it feel to just get honored like that at the end of the year?
Yeah, it's always a nice thing just being recognized for my performance on the field. The last 2 years I didn't get anything after winning Freshman of the Year to my freshman year, so it's nice to get back in the accolades.
It seems like, your career, you had such a great freshman year, then took a step back. What's allowed you to kind of build yourself back up these last 2 years?
Yeah, just working hard and just coming into more of a leadership role. Just having guys have me lead by example and being vocal as well, and just that kind of took some pressure off myself, just leading the team.
What does it mean for you to be a senior on this team and trying to be a guy that gets Emporia State now back into the MIAA tournament?
Yeah, it means a lot. The last 2 seasons we haven't made the tournament, so just getting our way back into the tournament and keep that building stone, just keep on building after this year.
Caroline. Caroline, do you have anything?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. I couldn't get my mic on. Hey, TJ. How are you guys preparing for MIAA tournament? Obviously, it's different than regular season. So, what's the mental piece of that right now, and how have you guys been prepping?
Yeah, so we're just taking it day by day. It's a new season. Everyone's record 0-0. That's single elimination in this tournament. So, we're just gonna put our best together and go out there, play hard 9 innings, and see what happens.
Yeah, and I know the end of the season maybe did not end the way you guys wanted that to. In a way, is there a way to use that for fuel and say, hey, let's go out and have a better outing than we did last weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. Last weekend we got swept by Northwest, so that's something that we didn't want to do. So we're just going to use that motivation and go forward this week and go game by game.
Yeah, and can you just speak to the competition in this conference? Obviously you guys have been in the thick of it all season long, but then you get to this point where every game matters a little bit more, and you just talk about the competitiveness of the MIAA.
Yeah, I think this conference is one of the best conferences in D2 baseball, and being able to play every team so far already in the regular season, we know every other team's strengths and weaknesses, so we know what tendencies to plan off of and go off of that. So
cool. That's all I got. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Or how does how you approach games change? Or do you try to take extra effort to make sure that you don't change the way that you do things going into the postseason?
Yeah, I think that's a hard thing. You kind of probably have to combine the two, because it's, especially where we're at, to win 4 games to win the whole thing, but you have to take one game at a time. You can't look forward to the next games. You got to win the game at hand, take care of that task, and then whatever happens the next day, you're ready for that. But yeah, definitely got to win the game that you're playing right there, and then whatever happens the next day or two, it will happen. So
you had been really consistent this year and really great. I know the last 2 appearances were not up to your normal standard. What do you feel like are the areas where you would like to work on and try to get yourself into a better position to go deep in game 1 of the tournament if you're called upon to be the game 1 starter?
Yeah, for sure. I think something that's been kind of getting at me is just not being ready to go that first inning. Whether that's lack of preparation or just not getting hot enough before the game, but getting myself ready to go in that first inning, give the team a 0, let the hitters have a chance to take the lead early, I think will be super beneficial. Always just trying to give my team a chance to win. So
what are your thoughts on playing the Lions? Obviously, you've seen everybody in the league at this point. Going to be a little bit different, being a true road game for you guys, even though it's in the MIAA tournament. What are your thoughts on Southern?
Yeah, super good team, awesome hitters, good pitching. Matched up with them earlier this year at their place, and we kind of strung some things together and took 2 out of 3, but that doesn't really matter to us at this point. Single elimination from here on out, so we have their tendencies, things like that, and you should have the confidence to go in there and compete with them as we did before. But yeah, it's going to be difficult to be on the road at their place, but I think it's something that we can get done.
Caroline. Then just look up at me like you're talking.
Yeah, when you get to this point of the year, especially for you as a pitcher, kind of how do things change for you from a mental standpoint? Is there anything, preparation-wise that makes it different knowing that it's the postseason, or is there value in just kind of preparing the same as you normally do?
Yeah, I think it'd be crazy to tell you that it doesn't feel any different at all, because obviously it does, but I think the important part is to try to mitigate that feeling and try to just go out there like it's every other game, like it's week 1 of the season in Edmond, Oklahoma against 3 non-conference teams. But yeah, it's definitely difficult to, not think about that, but the goal is to not think about it. So.
Yeah, and with that in mind, what does Coach tell you when you guys get to this point in the season?
I think our big focus is just kind of take one game at a time. With the new tournament, the single elimination, a team can get hot and win 4 games, and anything can happen. So, just one game at a time is kind of what we've been focusing on.
Yeah, and you touched on it a little bit earlier, but can you just speak to the competition of the MIAA? Obviously you guys have been in the thick of it all season long, but now you get to the time of the year where that's still there, but the games matter a little bit more. So just how competitive is this conference for baseball?
Yeah, this conference is definitely a gauntlet. From top to bottom, I don't really think there's a bad team. If you look at the standings, teams 5 through 9 are separated by just a couple games. So obviously the talent's there, and to go through the however many weeks it is, along with also the midweek conferences, it's tough, but it gets you ready for these weekends. So
that's all I got. Thank you. Good
awesome.
luck.
Thank you.
Good job, Cade.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, sir.
Yep.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Coach, obviously, first things first, the big goal was to get back into the MIAA tournament, a place that Emporia State hadn't been in a second. But what does it mean for this group of guys to be able to get that done this year?
Yeah, I think it's very exciting for the program. You just talked to Cade and TJ. Their freshman year they made it. They haven't been back since. So I think bookending their career with something they had accomplished, but maybe not been a huge part of. I know TJ played a little bit, but how much Cade really played. But being the guys who led us back to the conference tournament, to a better season, to kind of the idea of what we want this program to be, I think is exciting for them. But also, it's more baseball we get to play, right? So the last couple of years, the season's been over on these days, and we didn't have the opportunity to practice and be together as a team still. So kind of cherishing those days because you only get so many of them. But yeah, very excited to be back in the tournament because anything can happen.
I know that Coach Hill had said that at times this year you guys have gotten good starting pitching. You've had good pitching on the back end. It seemed like at times this past weekend, it was flip-flopped a little bit. The start wasn't good, didn't quite get the lockdown on the back end, but you figured out the middle. So I guess the million-dollar question is, how do you put the whole 9 innings together?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, right? Because Cade early in the year was really good. He was going 6-7 innings to start. Stover was giving us 6-7 innings to start, and it made the back end or the middle really easy, right? Because you only need 1 or 2 guys to fill those gaps. Season goes on, guys get a little wear and tear, bounce up and down a little bit. It's tough to have that many good outings in a row. On the flip side of that, though, our middle guys kind of stepped up kind of in the middle of the season. Kobe Rogers, Trent Worsler kind of bounced back from a rough little start at the beginning. Eli got better as the year went on. So seeing those guys progress and get better and pick us up when we needed them and kind of doing the opposite, right? Cade was kind of picking them up for a while, and then they picked Cade up a little bit. And then, it's different. Every game has a different life and a different situation, but Ian's been up and down a little bit, but he's been really good at a lot of times. So we feel like we got a lead and we can get Ian in the game. We feel really confident. But yeah.
Missouri Southern, a team that you've faced before and did some pretty good things here early on. As you guys go back and play a team a second time, obviously in the Major League this happens a lot where you just kind of evaluate your scouting report as the year goes along. How do you guys approach a second matchup? You guys know the potential teams you're going to face. Certainly for the first 2 rounds, it's pretty much locked in. The teams that you're going to face, the 3 possibilities. How do you guys kind of update your scouting report and go back over a team with your guys to get ready?
Yeah, I think it's important to understand what you did well against them the first time, right? We were fortunate. We went down, we played really well at Southern, and we won 2 out of 3. So definitely taking away, okay, what led us to having success at Missouri Southern, right? What did we do against their hitters? What did we do against their pitchers to have success down there? But also understanding that they're going to make those same adjustments, right? So continuing to do the things we do well is the most important thing, right? Trusting in our processes, trusting the things that we think will lead to winning baseball. So not getting too wrapped up in what they're doing, but understanding why we had success is important. Just going back through those games and looking at them the last couple of days, it feels like we just played really well, played solid baseball and kind of played up to the standard we want to play to there. So as long as we take care of that, I think we'll be in good shape.
Perfect guy to have on as the pitching coach. Certainly with a 4-game single elimination is what stands between you and the NCAA tournament. We've seen this happen in the major leagues where teams will try to plan out for the whole series, but if you lose early, it doesn't matter. And then obviously you do have to have a plan for the whole series. So how do you strategize your pitching for the series, having 3 guys that you can count on? You've plugged in some other starters at times. How do you attach this from a pitching standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky, right? Because you can only have one game you're playing that you know of, right? So you have to play to win tomorrow. So if that takes our best 5 pitchers to win tomorrow and move on to the next round, that's what it's going to have to be. In a perfect world, you would be like, yeah, we're going to start Cade on Wednesday, we're going to start Stover on Thursday, and we're going to ride it out from there just like we have all season. But we don't have that luxury, right? If it was double elimination tournament, you might hold someone back. But we're going to go for it. We're going to try to win the game at hand. Single elimination tournament's weird for baseball, but kind of gives you an easy choice, right? Of we're going to win this game, and we'll figure out tomorrow.
Caroline.
Hey, Coach. Thanks
Hi.
so much for filling in to chat with us.
No problem.
How do you guys this time of the year help the players shift their mentality from regular season play and prep to postseason play and prep? What's different about what you guys tell them?
I don't know if there's a lot different because baseball's kind of a tricky game where you don't want to get too high, you don't want to get too low. But I think it's more of just attention to detail. Little things that matter a lot more, not necessarily in the postseason compared to the regular season, but things that could cost you a win or a loss, one pitch at a time. I could think of just a couple times throughout the season where it's like, the team we were playing got that sack bunt down and we didn't. Or, man, we just didn't execute those 2-strike pitches and they did. Or they turned the double play and we didn't. So the attention to detail, having your best focus, but it's really just, again, like trusting our process, right, of what the preparation we've used all season. We're not going to change that now, but the sharper we can be on the details, the better.
And you mentioned, just kind of taking into account the things that you guys did well against familiar opponents and the things you maybe didn't do so well. Factoring all that in, what do you want to see from the guys in the first game?
Honestly, I just wanted to have a lot of fun and not get too wrapped up in the, oh my gosh, this could be our last game. But again, like it kind of boils down to the simple things. Like if we come out and we throw a lot of first pitch strikes and we swing at good pitches in the strike zone and we hit them really hard, you can kind of live with the outcomes, right? Because you're in control of the things you do well. First thing, have a lot of fun. We got 1 or 2 more guaranteed days together as a team. If we can make that 3 or 4 more, that would be great.
And of course, you guys know this because you've been in it all season long, but the MIAA is just so competitive year in and year out. And now you're at the point of the season where that competition's still there, but the games count a tiny bit more, Can you just speak to the competitiveness of the conference, especially when you're at the tail end like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think every weekend or every midweek conference game you go into, you always know you're going to get everybody's best shot because we're all playing to get into the tournament at the end of the year, whether that's just the top 10, 8, whatever it is for that year. But you also know that you have to respect every opponent in this league because if you don't show up, they'll get you, right? Like you show up and you play with your C game, they're going to be ready to take it from you. And there's not a lot of love lost in this league when it comes to stuff like that. So if they get a chance to put it on you, they will. But, just having that good focus, trusting what we're going to do, believing in the things we've practiced since August together, right, are the things that we really need to focus on. Competition ramps up whenever it's an elimination, scenario, and being able to control your emotions and understand that you just need to do the things that we're really good at already, I think is the biggest key.
Cool. That's all I got. Thank you. Good
All
luck.
right. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.